everyone here queued up already? And yeah, hands up. Yes. Okay, we're gonna get them out. Okay, and get them ready. Okay, so I want you to give the hugest round of applause for Sophia Lillis, Wyatt Oleff, and Jaeden Martell. How are you guys? I'm saying hi again, we've just seen each other. Hi again, you guys. So, you're Comic Con, obviously, and when you're filming for months and months on end, and then you're doing the press tours, and then you come here, how does it feel to actually meet the fans?
Oh, a little overwhelming, but I enjoy it. Yeah, it's really nice to see everyone. It always surprises me every time by the amount of people that come to this and come here just to see us. I feel like I'm really grateful for that.
And what kind of things have you done in London so far then, since you've been here?
Well, we've taken the tube around, and we've seen a lot of sites. The first day we went to the Tate, and that was really cool. Yesterday we stopped at South Kensington, and we saw I forgot what the museum there is called, but it's huge, and we just walked around in there for a while. But yeah, we've been meeting some fans on the street every now and then, just taking some pictures. I don't think anyone's recognized you.
No one's recognized me. It was very funny. Like throughout all of them, they always passed right by me, and I felt like at some point someone was going to ask me, "Hey, can you take a picture? Can you take a picture of me with them?" But no, I thought it was more funny than sad.
What kind of, having started these films now, it's like Chapter 1, Chapter 2, such big films, and the book, and then we have the 90s miniseries. What kind of things do you get asked the most? After you start these films, what do people ask you all the time? What are the questions you get asked?
They always ask me if I was wearing platforms during the shooting, because they see me and they always are shocked by how small I am. Yeah, I feel like in the second one, I actually didn't have to wear platforms because everyone else grew enormously, and I was the only one who hasn't changed at all. So, yeah, compared to them, I look 12, and maybe that's why people didn't recognize me on the streets.
Who's this small child?
Yeah.
Standing next to these tall people. And what about you guys? What do you get asked the most?
For press for the first one, everyone kept asking us who we wanted to be, who we wanted to play our older selves. And then there's a lot of, did you read the book? Did you watch the miniseries?
I'm curious about that actually, because I guess as an actor, maybe reading the book might be more helpful than maybe watching the miniseries, because it might taint the performance. So, did you go back and read the book and watch the miniseries, or did you decide to choose one or the other?
I watched the miniseries. I didn't read the book, because I think it really is a separate story. Obviously, it takes from both of those things. So, but I think we don't want to draw too much inspiration from that and get stuck in our heads and overthink it.
What about you guys? Did you avoid the 90s miniseries?
We did watch a bit of the miniseries after the premiere of the first edit. Remember that?
It was right before.
Was it right before? We were in the room and we just turned on the TV, and it was kind of a coincidence the miniseries was on, and so we watched quite a bit of it, but it's really long, and so is the book. And so props to you guys for reading the whole thing. I attempted in the beginning, and I thought, oh yeah, well, I don't want to taint my acting thing. And then once I was done, I looked back at the book, and it's just very intimidating overall. I'm still trying. I'm attempting to get through. I mean, it's a really good book. It's just really long.
And the 90s miniseries is kind of cheesy. Like, I don't, like, I remember watching it when I was a kid. It's particularly the scene with Pennywise coming out the toilet. And I was like, oh, and I just wouldn't go to the bathroom after that. I was like, oh my God, it's so scary. But I just remember it was just watching it again. I watched it in the last couple of years. It's over. It's just kind of a bit cheesy. Like, what did you think the same thing, or were you just like, oh, it's of the time, it's what it is?
Yeah, it's definitely of the time, but it is kind of crazy how, like, everyone told me when I found out that I was going to do this. Everyone was like, oh, I have a fear of clowns because of the original miniseries or because of the book. And then, so now we get to scare a whole new generation, and it's interesting.
And what about your bond on screen? So it is no surprise if we go look at your social media, and we've read a million interviews with all you guys, like clearly you got on really well. But what were your first impressions? What were your first impressions, though, of when you met each other? Particularly you three sitting here now, compared to now, what you know, like, how does that differ?
So, I think the first time everyone really met each other was at the chemistry read that I didn't attend. Thanks. The first time I met everyone was in Toronto. I had already known Jeremy because we'd done a project before, so it was kind of comforting to have someone on a new project. But I don't really remember my first impressions. I remember because the first time I met you was in a car. You were in the back seat, and yeah, that's true. And you were saying like, yeah, I can't wait to. You like ditched your graduation, your 8th grade graduation, so you can go hang out with a bunch of boys for the summer. Yeah, that's what you said. Sorry, that sounded bad. Jaeden, I don't really remember.
Probably best to keep it.
I remember.
Okay.
I remember everything.
Cool.
No, but we had to do these exercises to kind of get comfortable with each other. I remember staring into Sophia's eyes for a minute straight. It was very uncomfortable, but it worked. And we became pretty close after that.
That was the first thing we did.
Yeah.
First interaction.
First interaction was staring into each other's eyes.
For a whole minute.
And then we did a lot of like improv and like other
Trust falls.
acting. Yeah, trust falls. So like we did like a rapid get to know each other sort of thing, and it became close right away.
Yeah, one of the scenes we did was someone was trapped in like a box, like an invisible box, and we had to like say goodbye to them. It was really weird, and like I remember like someone was like, "No, I'll switch places with you," and then they switched places.
That's all you remember? Yeah, all the stuff that we did, I still can't make sense of it now. I don't know. I guess it helped.
It worked.
It works. I mean,
Is there part of you inside, though? I know as actors you have to do things like that sometimes, and there's uncomfortable situations you have to face. But is there part of you inside sometimes that goes, this is really bloody cringy? I'm a bit like, oh my God, that makes you go, I'm a bit embarrassed. Do you still get that? Yeah.
Hopefully that doesn't happen when you're acting, because you want to believe in the thing that you're making. But yeah, doing those exercises was so strange, and I think the best way to become close to someone is when you're put into an awkward situation.
I thought you were going to say is the best way is to stare into someone's eyes for like a minute.
That too.
Yeah, that works, I guess. If I think, even though it was kind of, it was a little, I guess, embarrassing. It was the first time we meet each other, and we had to do it again every day for a week or 2 weeks or so. So if it was something like incredibly embarrassing, we're gonna see each other again tomorrow. I mean, we have to. It's our job. So I guess in that way, we were also. This is, I think, one of our. I was my first big studio film, so this is kind of my first new experience. So it was really fun doing that with people of my age, and I feel like that really helped me get along with the guys.
Now, you probably get asked a lot about Bill Skarsgård, like Pennywise in these films. Can you tell us something about him, though, that no one else would guess? Can you tell us something about Bill that no one else would guess or know? I feel like I put you on the spot here. Some of Bill Skarsgård's secrets. What is he like?
He's very nice. I guess you wouldn't really get that from the film, so that counts as an answer. No, but he is very. It is really interesting talking to him when he's in his makeup and he's not in character, and he'll ask you how your day is, and it'll be really sweet. But he's still a 6-foot clown with a giant head, so it's a little freaky. I don't know if we know anything.
I really truly remember is that he's incredibly tall. That's all I remember is his height. That isn't a secret. I guys, you need to step up your game here. I don't know anything.
Do you, in chapter 2, you've got your adult counterparts, right? So, did you speak to them a lot before? Because we're doing it the opposite way around, I guess, with chapter 2. Usually, you might learn from the older actors, but they had to learn from you. Did you hang out with them a lot, speak to them a lot before you started? And what were your impressions?
Yeah, we did talk a lot. I personally conversed a lot with Jessica because it felt really strange her asking for advice on a role when she's Jessica and
You created that role.
It was very strange, kind of giving advice to Jessica Chastain. So I didn't know what to say. I just said, "You go do. You're gonna do great. Don't worry." And she did. So yeah, no, it was very strange. But we did talk a lot together about the role and what we thought about the character and kind of what steps she should take and basically who she is. So yeah, and she was really sweet all throughout. So yeah.
What about you guys?
Yeah, we actually all wrote a letter in our characters to our older self, and then gave it to them before they shot a scene together. So that was really interesting, and that was another thing that I felt odd doing. That it felt weird and unnatural because we were told to do it. But then when I did it, I was having so much fun because I was learning about my own character just by writing about him or writing in the perspective of him. So it was really interesting experience and kind of talking about the pain that Bill Denbrough has gone through and the guilt from losing his brother. So
Interesting, yeah, because usually that feels quite real actually to write a letter. Did you guys do the same then? You wrote a letter to your characters? What was in your letters?
Mine didn't really have anything too specific. It was mostly just like keeping track of your friends and making sure that everyone sticks together. I gave advice to Andy Bean, but I didn't really have much to give to him considering his screen time. But he was really, in my opinion, what he did with the role was really great, and just the little subtleties with the little time he had, and I think he looks a lot like me as well, which is slightly scary, but he's a great guy, so hopefully I turn out like him someday. I hope to be Andy Bean when I grow up. That's what I'm saying.
When I grow up, I want to be just like Andy Bean. Sophia, you mentioned that you get a lot of these roles where we've seen your character comes from a dysfunctional background, and you get a lot of these roles where you've sort of dysfunctionality in the family, that kind of thing. What do you learn from these roles when you're taking them on, and how do you research for them?
I really like these roles generally because I feel like they're the most interesting. I feel like if it's something that other people are kind of hesitant or doing, I feel like I should be the one to take this, do that job, because I feel like I can learn a lot, and I can learn not only about the character, but myself, and kind of not only learn about the character then, but actually a real person who's actually going through what she's going through, and I can learn more about people and learn kind of and become more self-aware, and I feel like by learning these jobs, doing these jobs, I do feel a lot of pressure because I really want to do it right, but at the same time I feel like it's necessary just to talk to a lot of people and kind of learn from other people's experiences, and with that I can take those and use that in my acting, and take advice from other people. So that's kind of how I do it, and hopefully it works out well.
Do you not want to just like be in a rom-com next or something?
Yeah, I mean that would be fun to do, but I really enjoy the roles that I've been doing, because I feel like they're the most interesting to do, and they're the most real, because I know rom-coms are great and I love them, but they're not really the most, like, you can't be like, oh yeah, I've been in that exact situation before, you know, it's not the most real as ones I'm looking for.
Absolutely. Jaeden, I had a question for you about Bill Murray, because you work with Bill and St. Vincent. And Sophia, you're a big Bill Murray fan, yeah?
Yes.
I love Bill Murray. Tell me, I just have a general question because he's such a legend. What is he like? What was he like to work with?
First off, terrifying.
Why was he terrifying?
Because he's Bill Murray. And St. Vincent was my first ever movie, and I was 10 years old, and I didn't even know if I wanted to be an actor, and I got this chance, and they flew me out to New York, and so I was so excited and so nervous that you know, I was just constantly so scared to be around him. But you know, he taught me so much, and he's very sweet and generous. Like sometimes he'll call my mom and say hello. And he's very real, he's hilarious, and he's crazy, and he'll do whatever he wants on set because he's Bill Murray. So, you know, I couldn't imagine a better first-time partner in acting-wise.
You're making me love him even more now. I love Bill Murray. Wyatt, like, complete change of pace. Wyatt, I know you've got a YouTube channel, and I spent the last 3 days watching almost all of your videos on YouTube. I know them inside out now. I love your unboxings. I'm really jealous about your unboxings. Yes. Tell me what's the best thing that you have unboxed, or when you got it, you were like, oh my god. Like, what was your favorite unboxing?
Okay. Do you want like a public, like one that I already have on my channel, or just like in general, like Christmas or anything?
Oh, tell me about the channel. What was your favorite one for the channel?
I have like 3. I think my most recent one was pretty exciting. I've kind of been wanting to do something with Nintendo at all, and they finally sent me a box, and I made an unboxing video. And I was like, yeah, I'll make a video on it, and so that was fun to edit and just to do. Yeah.
How, like, with the YouTube channel, because there's all sorts of stuff up there, do you just kind of think, right, I saw like a TED Talk as well, which I loved. I would pay good money to watch your TED Talk.
Thank you.
Like, seriously. Do you just kind of think about it and go, right, okay, I'm just going to make this video now, let's just do it?
Yeah, my video ideas don't really, there's not really a process for them. I just think about something, and if I'm like, oh, that'll make a good video, I just upload it, or I make it and then I upload it. But that TED Talk one, for example, that one was just me and Jack, and I think that was when we were filming It Too, and we were in like the Hilton Inn or something, and Jack and I just were improvising, and we were like, yeah, let's just do TED Talks, and that was one of them. And I have a couple other ones, and I was gonna upload them, but then I didn't because I didn't want to. So that's my content.
I was in a Wyatt YouTube video, wasn't I?
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah, you've appeared in my YouTube video as well. I mean, my husband was like, "What are you watching?" I was like, "Research." It's fine. I really enjoyed it. I've subscribed, by the way. I subbed as well. I've got just a final question before we go into a few games, and then we're going to ask the fans if they've got any questions. Since we're Comic Con, and this is the home of the nerds, and you know, a safe space, a good place for all geeks, what would you say is the nerdiest thing about each one of you?
I am a nerd in multiple ways.
An omni-nerd.
An omni-nerd, exactly. Anime. Shout out to anime. Comic books. Video games. League of Legends. Too much anime.
An all-encompassing nerd.
Yes.
And what about you, Sophia?
I'm not too much of a nerd, I don't think. Compared to both of these guys, I'm fine. I like all types of things. I don't know.
She likes anime too. Okay, guys?
Yeah.
She's too embarrassed, but...
No,
I also play Nancy Drew, so that's pretty nerdy.
How is that nerdy? I don't understand.
Good work.
And Wyatt, we know you love video games, but anything else?
I'm wearing NES socks,
Oh
so
my God.
if that tells you anything, that's about it.
Yes, we had an extreme close-up of the socks just there. Yes!
Those are my socks. I stream on Twitch from time to time, or I've tried to stream a lot. I just got partnered on Twitch, so that's cool. Pretty much the same thing as Jaeden. I play a lot of games. I built my own PC, so it's pretty nerdy, I guess.
That's what I love at Comic Con. You can be a nerd, all-encompassing nerd. When I was younger, my nerdiest thing was I like comics and stuff, but I collected we went to Scottish heritage sites, and I collected pencils and pens. That's how much of a sado I was when I was a kid. Still have them as well. So I'm going to go on to some fan questions that were sent to me online first. Because I put a call out for questions. This one's from Kate.Linmay on Instagram. She said, if the losers had a pet mascot, what would it be? Yes, Gilbert.
Gilbert.
Yes! Gilbert is
No applause.
Can we have a round of applause for Gilbert? You made Gilbert happy. Thank you. I'm put him next to you guys. Next, we've got Mitchell FC28. If you read the book, were there any scenes in it that were not in the movie that you would have liked to have performed?
Next question.
Smart. Okay. Instagram. Okay, so we're going to go on to the Instagram deep dive. I made an image for this. Look at my Photoshop skills, you guys. That's you under practice. I got so Instagram deep dive. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is I delve deep into your Instagrams and we're just gonna talk about the pictures. Sophia's pictures first. Let's get that up. It's on the side screens here. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
So this was a gift from director Andy Muschietti, right?
Yes.
And you mentioned in it that he's the best karaoke singer in the world.
Yeah.
Can you explain that, please?
Okay. I've never seen anyone passionate about karaoke before. I didn't know that someone could be such a big karaoke fan until I met Andy. I feel like that was the first outing with Andy ever. We had dinner and then he said, oh, let's go do karaoke. And I haven't done karaoke in such a long time. And I joined because I couldn't say no to the director. And I was very intimidated by his energy during
Was he
karaoke.
intense?
He was very intense. It was very loud and it had a lot of hand motions involved, and he's always tries to get you to sing along with him, and I'm not really generally a singer. Definitely not a singer, but that was my first time ever singing, actually, going to karaoke. I always just sit in the back, and hopefully they forget that I'm there. But
Did you
not
change
that
your
time.
opinion?
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. I mean, I sang along. Not well and not loudly, but I sang along. I contributed. I did my part. You guys did a lot. Jack did a lot.
There's nothing worse when you're thrust into the karaoke limelight. You're like, seriously, man?
It was something else, I gotta say. And that was not the first time, not the last time we went to karaoke, that's for sure.
Okay, so if you say Sophia, just don't ask her to sing. Jaeden. Okay, we've got a picture here, Jaeden. I really like this picture. Love that picture.
Thank you.
So now, my segue from this picture was, now that you're sort of being thrust into the limelight with these movies, what kind of messages do you receive? Do you receive any loving messages? Any crazy Valentine's messages?
Yeah, a lot of interesting messages. I don't know if I want to touch on any in particular. I don't want to throw anyone under the bus. But like, a lot of people would DM my mother, for example, asking for my hand in marriage. A lot of personal questions. That's fun. It's interesting. Sometimes I like to browse through and see what's going on in there and see if anyone's saying anything interesting or if anyone's cute. Yeah.
Just check it out from afar. Wyatt. Got Wyatt's image. There you are. Oh, look, you look very young there. This is next to, you're right next to Chris Pratt. Now, I have a question. My little segue jumping off point here is, if you could star in any Marvel movie, which would it be? Apart from this one, obviously, because you've been in Guardians of the Galaxy, any other Marvel movie?
I don't know. I mean, I'm obviously a big fan, not biased, I'm a big fan of Guardians of the Galaxy, just that that side of the universe, but I think probably, it's so cliche, but like Spider-Man, probably, I feel like that role is, seems really fun to play, and just like that, that kid, and just that kid in that big universe is such like an interesting role, and I think that's why so many people gravitate to him still, and even from like from when he was first made in the early 1900s. Early 1900s, no. Back when he was made, he still is a hit even now, and yeah, just that character is so iconic. So it'd be an honor to play him.
Well, I love Spider-Man. I'd love that. I think we'd be very good as well. Okay, so let's go to the final game, and let's get people queuing up for fan questions in preparation. There should be a mic here, and there should be a mic here. And if you've got a question, get to the mics now. The right-hand side's always really keen. So let's play this game very quickly. It's called Fear or Cheer. Look at this, my Photoshop skills again. Check that out, you guys. Very proud of these Photoshop skills. Now, what I want you to do is, you're going to see, I'm going to read out the scary things or non-scary things, and I just want to say fear or cheer. That's it. Okay? So let's have picture number one, the future.
Fear.
Fear?
Cheer.
Fear.
Okay, bananas. Next.
Finn is scared of bananas, everybody. Finn Wolfhard, terrified of bananas. One time I chased him around with one. That's a fact.
What about you guys? Fear or cheer?
Cheer.
Cheer.
Cheer, cheer. Okay, next. Sharing your feelings.
It's a cheer.
Cheer?
It's a fear. Sorry.
Fear. Oh, okay. What about you, Sophia?
Fear.
Fear. Oh, okay. Next one. Flying.
Neither.
I'm not afraid of flying.
Yeah.
It's like 8-hour flight.
It's not a cheer anymore though at this point.
It's just a meh.
Going to London, LA to London is not a fun flight. Well, it's not a cheer. It's a
Fear or death. Fear or cheer. Quickly, guys.
Fear.
Fear?
Fear?
Okay, next one. Mice and rats.
Fear.
Okay, well,
Gross.
Cheer.
okay, next one. Birds.
I'm giving you all kinds of facts, but Jack is afraid of birds.
No, pigeons specifically.
Pigeons.
Dirty pigeons.
Yeah.
But look at them with
Well, that's
their
a cheer.
pointy beaks and their beady eyes.
Oh, they're so cute.
Oh, that's a cheer. I'm a
cheer.
I give up with this one.
Next one. Confrontation.
Cheer.
Cheer. Oh.
Wait, on which side?
Like, you have to confront someone.
Oh,
Confronting's fun sometimes.
cheer.
Oh, okay.
Confronting's fun. How?
Microphone.
Oh, sorry. I say fear.
Okay, next one. It. Okay, Tim Curry's It. The old
Cheer.
version.
Cheer.
And the next one after this. Bill Skarsgård's Pennywise. Fear or cheer?
Cheer.
Cheer.
Thank you for making our movie so scary.
Bill. Cheer.
Thanks, you guys. Now let's do fan questions. Yes. Right. Okay. Now let's start with this lovely lady over here. Who have you got a question for?
Hello, yeah, I got a general question. When you guys first heard Missing You from Chosen, what was your reaction?
We're so proud of him. He's so talented. Yeah, that was Chosen saying hello on the other side. Yeah, we love Chosen.
Can we go to this lovely lady over here?
Because you've been saying about how everyone's scared of clowns now, what's your biggest fear?
Like a hotel hallway.
What are you guys?
Is that okay? What am I afraid of? I'm afraid of a lot of things. I'm afraid of driving. I'm terrified of driving. Cheer. Yeah.
I'm afraid of like salt water, drowning in salt water.
It's very specific. Thank you very much. Okay, this gentleman for Addison here.
If there is going to be a chapter 3, will you be in it?
Doubt it. Being honest, we're a little too old. I don't think the de-aging technology is going to work in a couple of years.
Yeah, that's true. We can try.
Yeah.
We can attempt, but probably not. I mean, I would like to be. I don't know if there could be another like a chapter 3, because
I think it's over.
it's over. It's done. The book's over. I mean, they can try. But if so, then I would like to be contributed in some way if there was ever a possibility. But yeah.
I mean, any excuse to work with everyone again
Exactly, yeah.
is a welcome opportunity.
Thank you very much for your question. Yes, lovely, go on.
Hi. I was going to ask, are you guys immune to horror films now, or do you still find them scary?
Still terrifying. But honestly, I think after doing a horror film, I appreciated them more. Before, I was too scared to even attempt to watch them. Now they're perfect.
Oh, I never knew that I would be a fan of horror films until after it. So I felt like after I did it, I would have just like not watched horror films anymore. I feel like it opened up a whole new world to me, and just so I'm trying to. I really do like horror films a lot, and I can't think of anything specific. But I really like. I really want to see movies like what's the recent? There's Midsummer that came out, and I never watched that, but. What? Hereditary, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'll still always be scared of them, but like Jaeden said, I'll continue to respect the craft, and knowing how they're made is a really important factor, and just knowing how to craft those scares is really cool, and seeing them in action is awesome, so. Yeah.
Thank you very much for your question. Over here!
I wanted that you made an amazing job in both movies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Then I wanted to ask you, being a little bit nerdy, you said, have you ever thought about doing some cosplay, and how it's like to see someone cosplay as your own character? Maybe if you've met them.
That's a good question. I have dressed up as a character from Naruto for Halloween. And I used to dress up as Batman every day when I was younger, just for no reason. And it is very cool to see people dressed up as yourself. It's kind of surreal, you know, someone else being in the clothes that you wore for however many months and became close to this character, and other people can relate to it and dress up. It's kind of awesome.
Yeah, I love it. I personally have never done it. I've gone to things with my friends, and my friends are big cosplayers, so they do that a lot. And I'm always that one person who was a little too late to the whole cosplay thing, so I'm just there with them. But it seems like a lot of fun, and everyone seems to have a lot of fun doing it. So I love seeing other people cosplay as Beverly. I feel like it's amazing, and I feel so happy that people liked my character enough to actually cosplay as it. So yeah.
Does Halloween count?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Well, I'm always usually like late to Halloween. Like I'll always forget to make a costume and then just like make one last minute, and it's never good. This year I wanted to go as Solid Snake, and I don't know if I had the time because this whole week I've been gone from home, so I haven't really been able to confirm if I have anything for the costume. So we'll see what happens.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your question. Over this side. Oh, can't hear.
What was the most awkward scene for you to film?
Awkward scene.
Really? Yeah, I guess it was a little. I guess it was a little awkward because it was a little awkward, but we got past it. I feel like the first take was a little strange, but after like the 40th, it was 40th take. It was more mundane. Like we got used to it after a while. So yeah, I guess that was a little awkward. The blood scene for me was a little awkward because it was kind of hard to move, and I was in. It was more uncomfortable than awkward because I couldn't move. It was hard to walk around the room because it was slippery, and I was already drenched in the first place. So.
Cool. Thank you very much for your question, and let's go back over here.
Not gonna lie, it's probably a pretty loaded question, but if you could go back to like the beginning when you walked into the audition, the first audition, and like up until like the primary or the second one, what would be the one thing that you would change that you did?
Oh, one thing you would change.
I'd say nothing. I mean, whatever I did in there that got me the part, I'm super grateful for. So, you know, I wouldn't change anything because I don't want the outcome to be any different.
Are you guys same answer? Or?
Yeah, definitely wouldn't change what we have.
Thank you very much. Let's move over to this side of the room on the right.
Thank you.
Hi there.
Hi guys. So Stephen King, master of horror. What was it like meeting him? What could he tell you about the role and the story?
Never met him.
Never met him.
He was in the second film.
Yeah.
Not in that scene.
Not on set.
Yeah, we were not a part of that scene. Apparently, we were.
So you've never met him?
No, we've never met him. I feel really
Never
sad.
exchanged an email or a text?
No.
No. Well, thank you very much for your question. Thank you.
Sorry.
Yes, sir. What would you like to ask?
Hi guys, so It Chapter 2 is kind of interesting because it's both like a sequel and obviously like a reboot. So this question is sort of like, it's very similar to a game. You guys are obviously like, said that you're quite nerdy. So is there anything in like pop culture, it's sort of like a three-parter that you want a sequel to, a reboot to, and one that you think should be avoided? Like personally for me, like Back to the Future should just be untouched, but is there anything for like you guys?
Good question.
I think what should be avoided is something like The Goonies. I feel like you can't recreate something special like that, or like Stand By Me.
Yeah, I feel like the movies that I grew up with, I wouldn't want to see done again because it's something that I've grown up with. So I would like to see references in new movies, like referencing the movies that I enjoyed, but I don't want people to make like, another Back to the Future or another Labyrinth or another never-ending story. It would be kind of like, actually never mind, I would like to see another never-ending story, but besides that, I understand.
It's an interesting question considering we are a part of a reboot, and like you said, but I think a lot of people rightfully just don't trust the industry. They've done a lot of reboots, a lot of remakes, and a lot of them just haven't lived up to what they were in people's memories and their nostalgia. And so when we were first taking on it was a daunting task, because I remember the first image of Pennywise that was revealed, no one liked it. They were like, he looks stupid, he looks like a doll, and like that was, we were kind of like, okay, this is a good start, but I think the movie did well, but just, sometimes you have to put that trust in, because Andy Muschietti, he is so dedicated to this franchise, to it, he grew up with it, so it's like, of course he wants to make it again because he wants to give it his own sense of justice, so, yeah.
Thank you very much.
That's a hard question, sorry, it really is.
It's a good question.
It's so good to hear, and I think It Chapter 2 and 1 definitely lived up to the hype. You guys did
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, and good answers. Okay, lovely lady here.
Hello. Since you were with Finn, I was wondering if you ever watched Stranger Things, if you were a fan of it.
Yeah.
What's Stranger Things? Yes, we did. It came out right in the middle of filming it, so everyone came back from the weekend on Monday, and everyone had seen Stranger Things, so it was kind of interesting to see, the normal Finn, or like Finn before that, and then all of a sudden everyone recognized him on the streets, and it was just really interesting change. And obviously we love the show. It was really exciting to watch it, and it had similar vibes, similar 80s nostalgic vibes as it.
Yeah, I mean, for everyone, we love supporting each other's projects. So Finn, again, for example, he invited me to the Addams Family premiere, and like that was like a fun experience, just to like, see what everyone's working on and just support them in any way. And oftentimes we're actually like up against each other in auditions and roles, so just making sure that we always stay connected and support each other is really important.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, over here.
So, away from like your own movies, what's your favorite film?
Oh, favorite film, you guys. Apart from your own. Go for it.
I love Martin Scorsese, so I'm gonna have to say one of my favorite movies of all time is Goodfellas. And then I like, other gangster movies like Godfather and Casino.
Good job. Goodfellas is amazing. What about you guys? Favorite movies?
Okay. Well, I have a lot of favorite movies, so I'll just do some from this year. I'd say my top is probably Parasite. I saw that really recently, and that was a very outstanding film. I don't know if it's out here or not, like I don't really know, but it was a really good movie. And my second favorite is probably Jojo Rabbit, and I saw those within a span of like under a week, so it was a good time.
Oh man, I can't really think of, because I like so many movies. I really do like Whit Stillman. I love Whit Stillman, and I love Wes Anderson, and I watch all of his films all the time. And yeah, I also really love Miyazaki films, and I enjoy those a lot. So yeah, I like those specific directors. Anything, if they ever come out with something, I will watch it in an instant.
What's your favorite movie?
What was that? Okay, we can't hear you. Oh, the microphone's not on.
Oh no!
Yell it.
Come here. Come here. Come on. Take my hand.
If you don't say it, I'm gonna be mad.
Okay.
Well, I'm only 10, so I can only watch like movies my own age, but probably Spider-Man Homecoming.
Right guys, that's the end of the panel. I would just like to thank you three for being absolutely delightful. Gilbert also thanks you. He's the new mascot of the Losers Club. There you go, little Gilbert there. Guys, you're here all weekend signing things and taking photos, so please come and say hello to those guys, alright?